Hey everybody, it's your boy Ninja, aka a Madman, doing another review here. Today's review is going to be Box Metaphor. Very uncommon for me to review any type of movie like this, only because I don't think that it was an A-list type of movie. I think this might have been a B or C grade type of movie. It was definitely captivating, but I'm going to go into some things. Obviously, we're going to review the movie. If you guys are nervous of spoilers or anything like that, you can leave now. If you guys aren't nervous of spoilers, then stick around because it does get a little wonky. I'm going to try and remember as much as I can because I did watch this movie probably about 2 weeks ago and I just forgot to do the review of it. But now that I've seen it, I'm going to go ahead and do it like I tell you guys I do every time. Okay, so beware, minor spoilers. Okay, so the box, it starts off pretty much with there's like no talking whatsoever. And let me tell you, this movie was like a roller coaster. You go up, you go down, you go round and round, and then you're coming back down. It's very strange. So the way it starts off is just like a box, and it's a box on the side of like an island or on the side of any type of, it's near a waterbed, I'll put it that way. And it's got a little slit in it, so like just a little slit that's just big enough to fit a brick in probably. And you can look out and you can see daylight. And I won't spoil what happens in the first couple minutes, but I will get into what's going to go on with our protagonist throughout the entirety of the movie. So our protagonist is going to be Cassia Stelmach, prisoner 37113. Get used to hearing that because you hear it a whole bunch within the movie. It did get an IMDb rating of a 5.1. I would have gave it a 6, so it does kind of make sense. It is about people judging people. So this movie is essentially in a dystopian world where the government allows the people to judge, kind of like the government, the judicial system that we have set up now, where people will judge and guilty, not guilty, blah, blah, blah. And they give them a time limit on how long their sentence is. The only difference is they spend that entire time frame in a box next to an ocean or on the side of a cliff, wherever they throw your box, I guess, because there were multiple boxes in multiple different places. And it didn't matter how long you had, it would be up to people. You didn't get any food, you didn't get any water. It was just basically up to you. People come up from civilization to your box to deliver you either food, water, goods, whatever they can do. There's no trading allowed. They made that abundantly clear, and we'll get into that later on. And there's no like entertainment allowed. Somewhat. I thought that rule was kind of weird because we're going to get into the first 10 minutes of the movie, probably 20 minutes of the movie, where a kid like throws a ball down by a box, just happens to be her box. She picks it up and she tosses it. It's like a rubber band ball, and she tosses that ball against the wall for like a week or two, maybe even longer than that. I couldn't keep it. You can't keep track of the time frame because she had like a 7-year sentence, and it fast forwarded a whole bunch throughout the movie. So you meet a lot of interesting characters that come up to the box and either deliver her food if they feel that she's worthy, or water, fresh water, because usually they're putting their arm out of that slot with a little bucket that they were provided for urinating and everything like that. Put it out there so that they can go ahead and get their water. The box has a camera in it so that they can be monitored by the government at all times, I'm assuming. If they break any of the rules in the box, the top of the box is made out of spikes. Well, kind of like stalagmites. Is it stalactites or stalagmites? The ones that hang from the ceiling. You know which ones I'm talking about. And it will come down and crush them. Just boom. And then they're dead. So we are going to get into some spoilers now, because essentially that's what the movie's about, serving your sentence in the box, and the people have to take care of you. They deem whether or not to take care of you or not. So, we're going to get into the movie. Spoilers. For those who do not want spoilers, Feel free to exit. It was nice seeing you. Hopefully you'll come back. I gave this movie a 6. And watch it if you want to. It was definitely interesting. I'll tell you that. So, you've been warned. We're going to get into the meat of the movie. The main protagonist gets 7 years on her sentence. She gets the rubber band ball. This all happens within pretty early on in the movie. Weird things start happening. We have a girl come up, offer her food. They talk to them for a little bit, then they offer the food. When they say, "Oh yeah, she's nice. She doesn't seem too bad." I never figured out what her crime was. I don't know if there's somebody who dug deeper that might have figured out what her crime was, but I couldn't figure it out. You can tell throughout the movie that her health is deteriorating from staying in a box this entire time, because her teeth start to go, her nails start to go, her hair starts to go. You can really tell she was catching rainwater to take baths. Found out later on that same bucket was used for peeing in, which it's a quick scene. If you blink, you'll miss it. But at one point, she sticks the bucket out of the window, kind of taps it on the side, and all you see is like piss, water fall out. Because I was thinking to myself, where do they pee? Where do they poop, right? You're in a box. Where do you pee and poop? The bucket, right? And they gotta eat out of that bucket. They gotta drink out of that bucket. It's gross. So one guy comes up and tells her, hey, you're gonna die in here. I'm not gonna help you whatsoever. Another guy comes up and he offers a trade. He offers a favor, is sexual in nature, in order for her to have an apple, which she says trading's against the rules. And he's like, I don't care. So they do it through the little slit in the box. This is the one that stuck with me the longest. They do it through the slit in the box. A drone sees them while they're doing that, and shoots him, mows him, lights him up. He's dead. Shoots at her through there, scraping parts of her body. So now she has scarring on her body. She gets a violation from the little computer screen inside of her box that says you violated. If you violate again, it'll result in termination, which means her death, right? Because she did violate once before. I think she was messing with something, and it was like, hey, no. Sorry, I think that's afterwards. Yeah, the first time and the second time. Okay. So I think that was the first time she was ever actually caught violating. The first time was like a warning. She was messing with like some of the bars above, like the stalagmites or stalactites. She was messing with them, and it was like, hey, keep your hands off of those. This is a warning. And the computer was like really choppy, so it's like hard to understand. It's like prisoner 11137, keep your hands off of the bars, blah blah blah. But it was like that. Another girl comes over. She's a sweet girl. She gives her a book. A book. It's about this big. It's so small. It's about the size of my thumb. Okay? And she's sitting there reading the tiny little pages. I can't remember. What was the book? Romeo and Juliet, maybe? It was a great story, though. I can't remember what book it was. Great story. That one was fantastic that she actually got it, and she was trying so hard to hide it from the camera. I thought that was really cool. And this is at the point where the movie is starting to come to an uphill. Then you find out months later, she's pregnant. Probably with that guy's kid. By the way, the apple, she ended up reaching out and getting, I think it was a pear, and it had worms in it, like maggots. So it was disgusting, and she ate it. And that's the scene that we saw in the trailer from where I said, don't eat the maggots. So yeah, that was there. That's where that scene came from. Find out she's pregnant months later. She ends up giving birth in the box. The way they visually graphed this scene was wow. I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy crap, they actually made that work. So she gives birth to the baby in the box. And then, of course, the camera because she's laying down next to the baby. The camera sees everything, tells her she's in violation, which would have resulted in her death. They said an unidentified object and then thought it was a dog because she thought, I guess the machine thought somebody had put the dog in there or whatever. Tear gassed it. I believe it was tear gas. It had to be something that put her to sleep because she passed out and the baby was screaming, obviously, because it was brand new to the world. Oh, she had to chew off the umbilical cord like a rabid animal. Dude, it was so graphic. You honestly, you'd have to see those two scenes. The scene I was telling you about before, where she's like, "Hey, no, we can't do that. It's a violation, right?" And then the scene after that, where she gives birth to the baby in the thing, and they flush it out with like smoke screen, or it had to be tear gas because she passed out. So she passes out next to the baby. Next thing you know, she wakes up. Baby's gone, right? I don't even know how that happened because I don't know how the box opens or how you get out of the box or whatever the case is, because they never explain that almost at all. She wakes up, baby's gone. She screams at the camera. She wants her baby back. Nobody answers her, of course. They tell her she was in violation, so she's receiving a punishment. 7 days insomnia. Now, when I heard that, I was like, how the do you give somebody 7 days insomnia? You can't do that. Or no, sleep deprivation. I'm sorry. 7 days sleep deprivation. I was like, you can't do that. There's no way. I think they called it insomnia, and I thought it was sleep deprivation. Anyway, 7 days of alarms ringing, strobing. If she even tried to pass out, it would like make more noise. It was crazy for 7 days straight. She started going nuts, like Looney Tunes. I thought she got out of the box. I thought she had been in there so long that she was gone. No, she was in there hallucinating that she was out of the box and that somebody had come in and saved her and forgiven her. Because I guess the whole goal is if you change the minds of the civilian populace and they forgive you for what you did, you can be released early from the box, but no one ever gets let out early. So she goes crazy, starts picturing a whole bunch of things, makes you think she's out, she's back in. Some people come in the middle of the night and start messing with her box, right? Which I thought was super screwed up because these people were like taking out the screws and the bolts in the top of it. And it was like, warning, you're in violation. You continue, then you'll be terminated. And I'm like, bro, she's not even doing anything. It's not even her fault, right? Which is why I think that it wouldn't be able to work completely, because that's unfair, I would feel like, because she's trying to do everything she can, and of course you got other people on the outside messing with the box. They unscrew all the stuff off the top and eventually shut the system down, thankfully, because it started coming down on her, and I was like, oh my god, she's gonna die. And there's absolutely no reason she did, because she was begging for them to stop, but they were like, we're gonna free you, and she's like, no, stop. But they didn't. They kept going. So, she didn't get free, but she tested her limits. So she started testing out, touching some things, looking at some stuff, and the alarm never triggered again, and everything was good. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Then days go by, and there's like, she's on the edge of the island. So all these holes that opened up in the top of the box are now flooding with water. Water is just flooding into the box. And she's like pretty much drowning in her own box because there's nothing she can do. A drone is looking for the box because the box is like submerged underwater and there's nowhere for her to go. She's just steadily getting poured on and drowning, and she doesn't know what the heck she's gonna do. She's freaking out. Now this is more towards the end of the movie, obviously. I thought the end of the movie would be like the people decided she doesn't need to be there, she'd be set free, blah blah blah. I thought that was how it was gonna end. Unfortunately, the way that the movie ended, major spoilers here, excuse me, the box, after being submerged by the water, breaks. The drone that was looking for the box to save her gets blown up in a storm. Lightning strikes it, boom, shuts down one of its propellers. I think it shut down another propeller. Which the graphics, don't look at the graphics, guys, because it's awful. I don't want to say AI, the FX, they're awful. Okay, they're definitely B, C grade, but the story is what's important. She washes up onto the beach, and her box just breaks down, and she comes rolling out onto the beach in front of these two kids, and that's how they ended the movie. I was like, or no, it was in front of a family. I think there was like a mom and her two kids or something like that. But yeah, I was like, that's such a bad ending. Like I wanted a good ending, but it was like, is she free? Is she not free? I don't know what the hell's going on. Is it? So like I said, this movie goes up. It's really good. And then after, it's slow. It can be very slow at times. So when it comes up and then it starts being real slow after her interaction with like the dude and stuff, and then it picks up again when she starts giving birth, and then it goes higher and you're like invested, and then the ending and it's like it plummets. I was like, oh bro. So yeah, I'd give it about a 6, maybe a 5.5. But I think IMDb did it. I guess IMDb on this one 5.1 did it justice, because it's definitely like an okay movie, not something that I would rush out to the movie theaters to see. But yeah, I would definitely check it out if you have a chance. I did give off a lot of spoilers, but you'd have to see it, because I'm not going to get into graphic detail about like her and what she goes through in this box. But yeah, you could tell. You could tell. You could look at it and be like, oh, okay, well, that's a lot going on in there at some points. And then some points, there's nothing going on. But yeah, overall, I liked it. I thought it was good. I'd give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 6. Give it a 6. It's definitely a good movie, just not something that I would go out of my way to see again, if that makes sense. Anyway, hated the ending. That's true. If you guys are listening, thank you guys for listening. If you guys are watching, like the video, subscribe for more. I'm going to try and do movie reviews more often. I know that sometimes I get them, sometimes I don't get them. Sometimes you miss a week, sometimes you miss a month. I'm sorry. When I watch more movies, you'll see more content. All right, guys. Be good. Catch you guys later. Thank you. Wait for the next review. I don't know what we're doing next, so I'll figure it out.